Alrighty, we're back on. Let me know if there's any echo in the background. Hopefully not. Hopefully my phone's acting nice here. And let's see. All right, Ashley, go for it. I'll see you. Do your stuff, girlfriend. There we go. That's what I need right there. Guys, let me know if there's any echo going on.
I don't know. I'm here again.
Perfect.
And you sound clear.
Oh my God. Finally. Good Lordy. Okay. So, look at my notes here. CBD is really cool. And it's like everywhere.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's now, ever since there has been a lot of CBD oil. So I have a few questions to ask, if you don't mind, about the Sjolie. My first question is, what made you want to come out with the CBD?
It is for me a little bit again. So for us, for actually putting the Restore product out there was honestly to put something, because CBD actually topically, everyone talks about like the kind of the numbing, the pain relief, that kind of side effect. Our focus honestly with it was the skin health, the moisturizing aspect of it, just the overall quality of the skin getting better. And then you have those kind of topical benefits that are associated with CBD. So right off the bat, like with our dosages, it's really just for the moisturizing factors and those types of aspects without it having any kind of adverse reactions on clients. Because right now I haven't seen or really heard of any research talking about allergies or anything like that. So it's kind of a more of on the sense of more sensitive kind of skin types. That's what it's kind of designed for.
Okay. That's good. So
yeah, it's not like the drug aspect. I think the drug aspect, that needs to be done in a totally different kind of setting. You can technically add it to get those percentages, but what's really cool is the way the CBD is formulated now. So ours comes from a CBD isolate, so it's just pure extracted CBD. There's none of the other stuff that's in the hemp plant. So you're not getting the THC or anything else, honestly. It's just the pure CBD. Now, the way it's formulated, it's kind of the way they've made it. It's like this kind of white powder, the crystallized form. That makes it so it's water. They say water soluble, but it actually just means that it's able to kind of be dispersed in water evenly, because you can't really make the oil itself soluble. So by doing that, it actually helps you actually get better kind of skin penetration versus the oil alone, because oil can only go so far in your skin. Versus with this, you actually have better bioavailability, so you're getting that better absorption rate. It's really neat.
Okay. Now, with the little amount of CBD oil, I mean, is it enough to in one spray tank?
It's going to help with the 2 droppers full, or sorry, the 1 dropper full per 2 ounces ratio. That's really for your topical kind of skin kind of improvement, that kind of aspect. Now, I always tell people to kind of start with that and then slowly start adding if they're looking for more of like the therapeutic aspect for that kind of thing. So that's when the next time they come in, maybe we'll do 2 droppers full and go from there. Because basically when it's in about the 2 ounce kind of spray, which is pretty typical, you're looking at like probably 8 milligrams per dosage. And it's kind of hard to compare because all of the research that's been done has been on the oil itself and not on the CBD isolate. So we're kind of in this weird ground where there's nothing to compare it to. So it's really kind of a trial by error, not even trial by error, but trial by just efficacy at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense. Now what are the benefits? I'm not sure if you answered this already. What are the benefits of CBD drops in the skin solution? And I mean, if let's say it doesn't work, about how many spray tans really start to work?
Like, it depends on what you're going for. If you're just going for like the anti-aging, like the skin moisturizing aspect, it's going to work that first time. And then it's really just about the maintenance side of it. It's just like with any kind of anti-aging regimen, you have to have that consistent kind of probably just absorption rate, I guess. So I know we're starting with the Restore just to kind of get people used to that mentality when it comes to the sunless world. And we'll be releasing some other products as everything kind of goes away.
Gotcha. Alan Schaefer says, will take away echo. That's why you can headset. Right back, guys. Hold on 1 sec.
Hi, guys. Anybody have any fun questions?
All right. Got headsets. See if it works.
I have no idea where a headset would be here.
Well, I think the echo's on my side.
Oh, okay.
Anything, guys?
I'll try turning mine down as well. Does that help, guys?
Let's see here. All right. Oh, and I lost. Ashley, I lost you. One more time, Ashley. I think she pressed the wrong. One more time. FB Tech, Ellen Schaefer. Oh, okay. Ashley, if you're on there, we lost you. Go ahead and click on request. One more time. Oh, not sure why we lost you. Let's see. Can you click on requests, Ashley? That way I can go ahead and add you. I guess like what you did before to add. And then I'll go ahead and prove it. And then you'll connect. There we go. Here we go. Cool. There we go. Adding. So now I just need to see it saved.
I'm learning all about this stuff. It kicked me off.
Okay. All right. Hopefully this works. I hear a little less echo in my voice. For some reason, my voice was like loud. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So the other question is, it seems like a lot of people are asking questions about the legalities about having the CBD oil in the sunless tanning drops. Can you explain that one? I mean, why they would have a concern with that?
Well, it's like the Wild West right now when it comes to CBD. So it's one of those things. Let's see if I can try to move my phone, if it'll help with where it's at. I don't know. Maybe I'll try holding it. Maybe it's bouncing off of something it's sitting against. So when it comes to legalities, states are constantly changing things right now. We're seeing, like right now, I think there's CBD products now in Walgreens and CVS and all of that. So we're going to be constantly seeing new things start to happen. So I always just say, talk to your local resources. Everyone, you got to just talk to them. There's a lot of information online, and even I feel like a lot of the people that are in like the CBD kind of side of things, they're posting things daily and even like weekly with new changes to laws or with what things actually mean. So I think if you talk to your insurance, I know when we went to release the product, we talked to our bankers, we talked to our insurance, we talked to everyone, and they said that we were good. We actually talked to FedEx and kind of went along those lines. So we've really tried to cover all those bases, and really it becomes state by state. Some cities have certain specifications, counties, all of that. So really just looking into your local government side of things, you should be able to get all the information.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you think
Do you think
those
those
who offer CBD oil in the Clemens Chain Association, do you think they should have their clients sign a separate waiver?
I say, I mean, why not? Honestly, I make everyone sign a waiver for all of that, just to make sure that way the client states that they're aware that that was going on to their body. That way there's no, with anything, I always just make sure that they're kind of going over that.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Now,
I saw in
I saw in another Facebook
forum
forum that
I think it
I think it had to do with square.
If you
Add
add in
in
the I think it's
I think
square
it's
up,
square up.
where if you add
Or
in
if you
a
add in a
product in your
product
square up items,
Uh-huh.
it
it doesn't,
I guess
I guess,
Square
square
voids it out
voids it out or something, doesn't like it because of the word CBD oil.
Maybe it's the way, maybe they haven't updated their side of things, because it's not the CBD that's actually like coming from the marijuana plant. It's coming from, it's got a different kind of sourcing in that sense. It's coming from the hemp. So it's one of those things. I feel like it's just going to take a while for the different levels to kind of information to get to those people. That was a good question. I saw a second ago someone asked about how marketing it. I honestly, you can market it as any of the things that you want to do. I just, with first-time clients, I always start them with the lower dose.
Okay.
Because you don't want to waste you don't want to waste your CBD additive. But then also on top of that, some people have sensitivity, so they may feel a reaction from less product versus more. So that's kind of where that comes into play. You can market it as there's been benefits with that, but I wouldn't be too specific on it, just because you don't know what the right percentage is for that client and their specific need.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Do you guys have any questions about the Sjolie CBD store drops? Please ask. I'm sure Ashley would be happy to answer for you. Angela says, let's see. Angela says, if it's mainly for hydration, shouldn't we avoid marketing it? Your muscle spasms, pain, eczema, etc.
That's what I was trying to go, like, make like the reasoning, so that way I just always want to, you always want to start on like the safe side of not doing too much. You can always add more. It's like with color. You don't want to spray someone too dark the first time. You kind of start with something a little bit on the lighter side and gradually work your way up, so that way they don't get too much.
That makes sense.
Okay.
And it seems like David and Charmaine Solomon says, I guess they can't have that in Australia.
No.
Okay, so it's in, I guess, U.S. based for now. I'm sure it'll get to Australia maybe later. Who knows? But Angela says, from what I understand, the law doesn't allow it. The law doesn't allow what, Angela?
Like stating specifically treating for a certain condition or anything like that? Is that what you're referring to, Angela? Or are you talking about Australia?
Yeah.
I love Taryn.
Let's see, Angela. I'm thinking she was talking about. Well, she might be thinking about.
Yeah, you can't be specific, correct. It's not exact.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't allow.
There's no research,
etc.
Because it only in the last several months has it been legal to actually start doing real medical studies with it. So I'm sure we're probably going to see some really cool stuff coming out in the next few years when it comes to research, now that they can actually do it in like a good, like study kind of basis.
So basically, we could just market it as skin hydration, not anything for the medical side of it.
Kind of benefits. It does kind of help with a lot of that stuff. I noticed for me, like I carry a lot of tension in my shoulders, and I personally have found that it helps with that. So it really is a client-specific kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Because I've asked some of my clients that I tan. I was talking to them about CBD oil drops in sunless tanning solution, and they were like, no, you're not going to carry that in your solution, are you? And I'm like, still doing research on it.
Yeah, people have, they have a correlation of it like being like a drug, like people smoking marijuana kind of a thing. And it's all of the good stuff extracted without any of the bad psychoactive kind of things happening.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking that like here in Orange County, I was doing kind of a little study on it, and younger generation, they're all into it, whereas the older generation, those are the ones that were like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Had the concern about it. I was like, okay, let's see. Tiffany Lip says, how much does the person really get? Is it really worth it in such a minimal amount?
So honestly, it's case studies at this point, but I've been spraying people and kind of doing comparisons. Same solution, just adding the CBD versus not having it. And their skin really does feel better after. And it has that kind of like cooling effect on top of that. So the way the CBD actually absorbs, so you have it in that nice form where it's the water soluble, but on top of that, like we put, want to make sure I'm listing this correctly, but we have like inositol in there. So that's going to help with better skin penetration. You have the collagen that's going to help with penetration and locking it in. So you're going to see more results from less, which is a hard thing for a lot of people who have been maybe using CBD oil topically, but it's the actual oil concentrates. So the percentages and the ratios are very different from them and from any of the research that's out there.
Okay. And you said it's only one dropper for 2 ounces of solution?
Yes. I would start with that, and then you can kind of add it as you go. But it's kind of one of those fun things of you kind of have to figure it as we go, because it's a whole new aspect of the world of tanning.
True. And Carolina Felix says, how many uses can you get from one bottle?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I think in a 1 ounce bottle you have, I think it's 30 droppers full. I could be mistaken. I'm trying to remember if I think it's about that.
Okay. And it's 30 full droppers.
That should be, but it's hard to like gauge the actual full dropper percent. Droppers are just, it's an annoying thing, but it's the best way to kind of control your dosage.
Gotcha. Okay. Tiffany Lip says, is there any negative feedback yet from the oil, I guess?
Honestly, we haven't. We've actually been getting a lot of people with great feedback, and we've actually been having people repurchase it, which is huge too. So that's always a good kind of indicator.
Very nice.
Let's see.
Tammy says, thanks for clarifying. Awesome.
Sorry, I saw Angela's post. You could market it that some people get those results. You just can't say that you are giving those results. It's kind of the way you have to talk. It's with anything. You can't be too specific because everyone is different and there's no research to back it yet.
That makes sense.
Yeah. There's a lot of information on the therapeutic aspects. It's just there's nothing tried and true or in a solid study at this point.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Let's see. Since we are not, Angela says, since we are not allowed to market it for pain relief, etc., wouldn't it be better not to have brands market it in that way, the spray tanners?
Um, let's see, would it be safe?
It's just hard because it's hard to really get onto the specifics of it. So I see where you're going on that.
Do you think laws would regulate the CBD drops in sunless tanning solution, or I mean, do you think that I don't know?
When it comes to cosmetics, because there's not a whole lot of regulation, which is kind of scary in our world.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to sourcing properly. And so it's, for me, like the way we found the CBD isolate that we use, like we made sure that there was like third-party testing on it and that it was actually to the right consistencies, making sure it says it's a 20% powder, and it went to an actual lab and got broken down chemically, and that's what was in there. And that was it. There's no other things, because I know people are afraid that there's going to be, with different ways of kind of extracting the CBD, they're afraid of having like formaldehyde in it and that kind of a thing as a byproduct, and that's not going to happen. So you just have to make sure you're getting it from a good, clean source, and you know that it's working right.
Okay. And how much does the bottle of Sjolie Restore cost?
You know what? I'm actually the worst person. I don't know the actual amount. I can look it up real fast since I have my laptop that I'm not using. Let's see. I'm all about the formulation and how things work and training kind of side of things. So I'm always the worst person when it comes to the actual pricing side of things. Let's take a look.
If you guys have any more questions about this,
Thank you, Tiffany.
go ahead and ask them. That's your chance.
Let's see.
Tiffany says it's
I believe it is.
$36.
I've never seen it.
I'm terrible at all of this.
Ooh, any scent? And Tiffany also says, is there any scent to it?
No, it has that cooling effect, so it almost has like a minty kind of scent to it in a sense. When we first were testing it, it's actually really funny, is we were spraying it and they didn't understand what was happening. They're like, it feels cold. So you couldn't tell if like the penetrating agents were actually working, but so they were like, I don't know if it's making me feel like I'm not having as much, like my pain receptors are feeling it, or if it's just cold. When the spray tan is typically almost always cold anyways, so it was just a funny thing that happened. Yeah, it's $36.
That's not bad.
No, it really isn't, and it lasts quite a while.
That's cool. So I have a question now. Oh, Angela says clients are definitely loving the hydration benefits, and it helps with sunburns too. Okay, I guess because of the hydration part.
There's a lot of cool research out there. It's all case study based, so you can't say anything that's too definitive. You can just talk about people's experiences.
That makes sense. So one question that I have is, let's say you add the drops of the Sjolie CBD Restore in the solution. Can you add other additives with it? Like let's say the Sjolie shimmer, the Sjolie fragrance drops.
Yeah, you could do the anti-aging drops with it, the slimming. All of our formulas are meant to be customized that way. So that way you can really gear it towards each client. We try to formulate our base product nice and simply, so that way you're not dealing with all of the allergies and other fun stuff or sensitivities that someone might have.
Okay. And can the drops be used in other solutions? Like say someone is using a different sunless solution and they want to use the Sjolie Restore along with the Sjolie other additives like the fragrance and the anti-aging.
All of our additives can. Scent, you probably wouldn't want to mix it with a solution that has a scent already.
True.
It probably wouldn't turn out that great, but all of the other additives are designed to be that way. They're kind of universal in that sense, because it's really just making sure that you're able to customize something specifically for someone.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tiffany says Iowa in the winter, they need hydration, but their clients are already freezing.
Yeah. At that point, you're just kind of adding to it. I know we actually have some clients that are adding it to their pH balancing. So they're doing their prep spray with it, in conjunction, which actually is a totally fine thing to do as well.
Oh, that's a good one. Can you add CBD oil in the prep spray?
Yes. Because it has that kind of skin calming effect.
Okay.
And so it really helps, because there are those people that have sensitive skin that get kind of redness or like a little bit of inflammation from like drying agents. And especially, you know, those clients that we tell clients to shave 12 to 24 hours beforehand. And you know, every single time it's literally right before they get a spray.
Oh, yeah.
It helps those things from being an issue too. So
I
it's
get a
soothing.
lot of clients to do that.
Yeah.
Shave 2 days before, 12 to 24 hours before, and of course, when I go telling them, it's like, oh, you just shaved because you're bleeding in the back.
Their hair's wet because they just got out of the shower. Their skin has that nice tightness from being freshly bathed.
Oh, yeah. All right. Good information there. Good information there. So that, I mean, I like what I'm hearing, which actually puts my mind to rest, because I mean, I was just curious, you know. I think it was Dorothy and Dane, I think, that came out with it too. I forgot the name, but it's like, oh, who's this? Who are these? You know? Because it's like, you don't want to get CBD oil for Sunless solution from anywhere. You know, you want to get it from a reputable company. You know, somebody you can trust. And with the name Sjolie, everybody knows the name Sjolie.
Yeah, well, it takes forever for me to release anything. My product, like the products, I try to make sure, like, I have sensitive skin. I'm allergic to the world. So, I mean, if I can use it, I'm pretty sure anyone else can virtually use it at that point. And I'm an avid researcher. I'm always reading up on ingredients and how things work. So it's one of those things that took a while. And this idea has been in our head for like the last couple of years. It's just legally, I didn't want to cross that line until it was actually good and on the safe side when it came to the federal level and all of that. Because California, it's a whole different world here.
Absolutely. Now, the CBD drop oils work. Have you had somebody with eczema that tried it?
We actually have now that we're testing it with, but it's client specific. So I don't want to go out and say that it's going to heal everyone's eczema, but we are seeing that it's actually being beneficial.
Okay. My sister, she has like severe eczema, and she's like allergic to everything on earth. But when I tan her, my solution has aloe vera. So when I tan her, it makes her skin feel so much better and so smoother. Normally, when she treats her eczema, she uses like hydrocortisone with her amino lotion and to get that smoothness or that soothing feeling, you know. But with the Sunless, when I spray her, it's a different story. It's like, you don't need her hydrocortisone anymore, which is nice.
That's amazing.
So I'm thinking, if I use the CBD oil in the solution, it'll make her skin feel even better.
Give it a try. It actually, there's studies on it that have helped to show, like with acne kind of prevention and treatment, all of that kind of stuff. I know for me, because I've been messing with it, so I'll mix it with I made myself like a little daily kind of moisturizer, and I have like a good refresher spray that I added it into.
Oh, nice.
And it's actually keeping my skin relatively clear, which is really rare because I am an incredibly breakout prone person. Anything will get me, anything I had to put on topically, and that's been one of the things that I've noticed that has really helped.
So you mentioned moisturizer. So does that mean you can add little drops to like a lotion per se, like tan extender?
Technically you could, yeah. That's why there's a whole bunch of different ways that you could actually help people out. It's just, that's why we started with the drops, so that way we can kind of ease the mentality of our industry into it and hopefully kind of go from there.
Nice. I'm seeing more benefits of what I can do with the CBD oil. Put it into.
Like, become your own little lab scientist and just try things out. It's obviously, it's not the way we formulated it. You're not supposed to be taking it internally, so don't do that. But topically, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Tiffany Lip says, did we decide how many cans we can get out of a bottle? So, Tiffany, Ashley was mentioning that you can get 30, if you add one dropper.
Yes, I believe there's 30 droppers in a 1 ounce bottle.
Okay, so that means you can get 30 tans in.
And if you want, after this, once this video posts, I'll post underneath it just to make sure, to give the clarification as well. I'll go research to make sure.
Okay, awesome. You guys have any more questions about CBD oil in the sunless tanning solution? I know, there's like talk about it everywhere, so now is your chance to
I see, okay, so Tammy, when you asked if will clients shy away from it because of the word CBD, you could talk about, do you want to try the restorative drops and talk about the benefits? And then you can kind of break it down, because I feel like for me, when you actually break down what things are doing and how purified things are, that there's none of the bad stuff that comes from CBD typically, that it's just the pure CBD aspect of it. There's no THC or anything. Once you've explained all the benefits and the possible kind of benefits that can happen for that client, at that point, I feel like you're usually good. They usually will be like, oh, totally makes sense.
So like if people want to put it on their website, they should probably put now offering restoring drops in the solution. I mean, how can they market that?
And that's hard because every market's different. So it depends on your crowd. It depends on the people that you're spraying in your client base. So you could do restorative additives. You could do, that's why we said restore, because it's really just helping kind of bring everything back together. And if you're in a client, if your client base, if you're in a market where CBD sells, then by all means do that. And you can maybe just put restore drops and then underneath it, put the benefits and then contains CBD, CBD isolate, and and maybe talk about how there's no THC and kind of go from there.
I like that better, because that would probably ease the mind of clients.
But I feel like with all your precautionaries, when you actually explain it to clients, they're like, oh, that makes sense. Like with nose filters and the face mask and eye protection and all of that. If you just start handing it to people, they're like, why do I have to have this? But when you actually break it down why you're doing those things, then it actually makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I like the way you explained it. It's so much more clear that a client will understand more. Yeah, my tanning solution has CBD drops in it.
Yeah, it's very random. Educate the client. I saw age limits, Angela. I say 18 or older. And then because underneath, maybe if they have parent permission, it really depends on your market. It depends on your client base. It depends on your local laws and kind of going from there. I always make sure that I have a parent at the actual appointment and kind of go on all those bases.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of like the tanning beds, the UV tanning beds, you only can do it, I think it's like 18 and over.
Yeah, that's how it is here.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so 18 and over, okay to use the CBD oil drops, 18 and under.
I have them get parents' approval and like go over everything, like in special situations, but for the most part, kids don't really want it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Probably your older generation, maybe in their 20s and up.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. What happened? Ashley went off again. Oh, live and Ashley, can you get back on here? There you go. Oopsie. There she is. Oh,
I got booted. I don't know.
Angela said prom girls. Well, I think that would go back to the age requirement.
Yeah, and at that point you'd want to make sure that all their parents were there too. So it's like a whole other kind of grouping.
Yeah. My other phone. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So for prom girls, I mean, it would be more of a get a parent consent on that one. If not,
Yeah, because there's nothing that shows like that it penetrates and get into the bloodstream or anything along those lines. So it's not like it would be in their system, but it's just one of those things with any kind of treatment, anything, you want to make sure that parents have full approval of everything. Because there's some parents that don't want their girls wearing makeup, let alone getting a spray tan.
Oh yeah.
And then you add CBD to that. That might just be a whole mental blow up for someone that doesn't understand what's happening.
Yeah, I chance some girls are like in their 16s, going to prom, going to home dance, and their parents are like, very lightly, nothing dark. It's like, of course, the child, the one who's getting tan, like, don't listen to her, let's go darker.
You got to find that happy medium.
Exactly. Let's say Tammy says she lives in a community where we have a lot of older and it's really popular here. So I'd love to offer this.
Honestly, I think it might actually help with getting good color for if you have a client that's got the older, drier skin. If you're adding that other moisture balance to it and the kind of soothing aspect, they won't kind of pull that too much DHA reaction kind of color that typically happens with drier skin.
That makes sense. Because it's hydrating their skin, so the color's going to be a lot better compared to dry skin.
A lot better.
Let's see, Angela says I require 18, but others don't. So that's why I mentioned. That makes sense. I on my waivers, it's under 18, parents must sign.
Yeah, just it's better safe than sorry with any aspect, anything that you do in life. Just cover those bases. That way you never have to deal with that one person.
Exactly. And you know me, guys. I'm always about prevent the lawsuit. Cross your T's, dot your I's, cover your booty.
It's not worth it.
It's definitely not worth it. Well, if you want to purchase the Sjolie Restore Drops, Tammy, you can go to www.Sjolie. Which other half? I go there all the time.
You can go directly to, I think it's SjolieCBD.com, or you can go to our actual website, which is SjolieSprayTan.com.
There you go. It's funny, I should know this by now, because I always go to the website. Of course, it's like saved on my computer. I just click and it's gone. So there you go, Tammy. If you want to go ahead and offer that. You just mentioned the website, and we'll go ahead and type it in there for you guys to order. Any more questions about CBD oil and our solution? If not, we will go ahead and close out for the day.
All right.
Thank you so much, Asha. Appreciate it.
Thank you for learning Facebook Live this way, or teaching me Facebook Live and going through this process. It's been good.
Right? Now we know, right? Was it fourth time a charm?
This is my first time ever doing a Facebook Live, so.
And it's funny because I've done Facebook Live before, and it's like, we'll just add the person, and it goes on, but this one was giving me on my plate. I don't know how to do this. Thank you. Tammy says she orders often from Sjolie. Oh, okay. There you go. So Tammy was waiting for the clarification about CBD oil. I think we answered the questions, and she put her mind to ease, which is nice.
Seriously, I get so many messages through Facebook, Instagram, all of that, asking about it too. So if anyone has any more questions, they can always feel free to give us a call here at the office, email us, find us online, whatever you need to do. We're usually pretty receptive and get back to people fast.
Definitely. Great customer service. You guys ever need anything, they are there for you. I do apologize for the echoing on my side of the phone. I don't know what happened. I didn't have headsets on, and it's like I can still hear some echoing on my half. I apologize for the technical difficulties that we were having in the beginning. But hey, we were able to get on.
Yes, we did.
And answer your questions. So. All right, Ashley, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Taryn. It was nice to actually meet you.
You're welcome. Likewise. All right, girls. I will talk to you guys later. Like I said, if you have any more questions, feel free to write your questions in the comments below. and let Ashley answer them.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, guys. Love you all. Have a happy Friday. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.